You're listening to Living with Lewy. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to this week's edition of Living with Lewy. I'm Larry Anderson, your host, and I wanted this week to kind of talk about some of the things that I know I'm experiencing as I continue this journey with Lewy. I know that a lot of you are familiar with some of the things that I'm going to talk about because I've seen people posting their some of the things that go on the various Facebook groups, and so I'm just like, I guess, a lot of people that live with Lewy body and experiencing things that are progressively getting perhaps a little worse. I know that for me, and it has been a an increase in being dizzy, lightheaded, and an increase in the fog and the mud that I experience in my thought patterns, and I have some increased maybe difficulty with spatial awareness, and um, that's being coupled with continuing to have attacks, with my independence. I had to give up driving completely, which is okay. I'm glad that I could come to terms with that and make that decision on my own without having one of my loved ones having to say, "No, it's time for you to get out from behind the wheel and stop driving," or to have someone medically remove me. I made the choice, and so that makes it, I think, maybe easier than what it would be for if someone had to intervene. And I'm fortunate enough that I didn't have to have any type of intervention to let me see that it was that it was time to give up the automobile and give it to let someone else do the driving, because my driving skills are not as sharp as they should be. And I think I've mentioned before that I spent some time teaching defensive driving, aggressive driving, impaired driving, and like it or not, that's what driving with dementia is, a form of impaired driving, if you will. And so I think that it was definitely time, and I'm glad that that I was able to make that decision. The increase in, or the increase in the fogginess and whatnot, um, it's had people to ask, well, what stage are you in? And I see that a lot where it seems like caregivers more often want to know, what stage is my loved one in? And I guess that's so that they can kind of read and maybe look at what maybe they can expect or something. I personally, I don't like stages. I don't like, I don't pay attention to staging because I want to be able to work on improving any aspect of my life that I can, and that's a lot being done because I'm directly involved with physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. That's all of that helps me to not only stay more active, but to stay focused on the things that can be worked on, the things that we can affect change with. You've heard me talk about neuroplasticity and the fact that I know that you can kind of reprogram your brain to take commands from areas that are not damaged or less damaged. And these commands are being taken from a different area of the brain that maybe has been damaged by the Lewy body. And I've talked about like walking and having to think about, making sure I'm putting my heel down first. I had to retrain my brain to think like that, and I have to constantly remind my my brain and body to work together. And those are things that you never had to do. It just happened automatically. But I don't think that I would have ever learned that these. In fact, I know I would have never learned these techniques had it not been for the introduction of this therapy team that has just meant the world to me and to my mobility. They can't do anything about this mental decline or anything about the spatial awareness piece and some of the other things that are happening. I have autonomic issues with temperature control frequently, certainly with some times periods where I feel a shortness of breath, even though I'm not doing anything. And I also have a runny nose that almost never stops. But all of these things are problems that are centered around my autonomic system not functioning the way that it should. That coupled with the other things that are happening, I feel as though we were on this plateau, and now I think we've kind of slid a little bit further, and hopefully we'll make it back. But at this point, where this has been going on for several weeks, we're not sure yet. And if you live with Lewy, you know that you can have good days, bad days, and anything in between. You just never know what hand Lewy is going to deal to you when you get up in the morning. But I think the fact that you get up in the morning, you face the day, you do everything you can to keep your mind as sharp as you can, and to keep your body's mobility, you have to work at it. It's certainly not anything that's given at this point. But the other thing that seems to be happening to me more frequently is these what they call auditory hallucinations. The one thing that I've noticed with my particular experience with my hallucinations, to this point, I've not had anything that I've been afraid of. Nothing that's caused me to feel afraid. And most of the time, in fact, I'd say 99% of the time, a visual hallucination, I can still apply logical thinking to it and determine whether it's real or whether it's something that my mind is fabricating. And for those of you that have had these visual hallucinations, what amazes me is how vivid a picture your brain can present you with that's just not there. And just how real it looks. I've seen a dog a couple of times. I've seen a woman in a white dress. When I was talking about these auditory hallucinations, I wake up at night and perhaps use the bathroom and lay back down. And as I'm trying to go back to sleep, it's like I can hear Walter Cronkite and Dan Rathers having a conversation in my living room. I can't really tell what they're saying, but it's that deeper tone. Maybe describe it as a broadcast quality voice, and I know there's nobody there. I have three large dogs that sleep around my bed, one at the foot of my bed. And if anything moves, they're on it. So I know that nothing's really there because they're being calm, and that's just not the way they would be if there were something here. I also have some olfactory or smell hallucinations, if you will. I'll smell something and I'll say to my wife, I'm like, "Oh wow, do you smell that?" She's like, "No," and so I think that that's another thing that your brain just plays tricks with you on, and it's it's interesting to me how fascinating this brain can be, and the thing that I would have never believed that you could retrain your brain until I've actually experienced it working with my therapy team. You would have, you know, prior to this and prior to them, I would have said, that's hogwash. You can't do that. But it's not hogwash. It can be done. And I want to say that this journey uh, has has taught me a lot about uh, what what you can do and what you can't if you set your mind to it. I do believe that had I just taken the diagnosis and said, "Oh well, all right, I read that. That's I'm not going to be able um, to do much about this," and had I laid down or just sat around and done nothing, I would be in a lot worse off shape than what I am working at this every day. And I want to do everything I can to push this out as far as I can. I know that in the long run, I will not win this battle, but I certainly know this that when this battle becomes harder or I can no longer mount that battle at all, I will know that I did everything that I could to um, to push it off as far as I could. The I know that my friends and some of my siblings have told me, you know, your attitude towards this whole thing makes all the difference in the world, and I believe that. But in order for you to get there, I think you have to be willing to accept the diagnosis that you have, and then accept what those consequences are, and accept that you're going to do everything you can. I don't feel like I have all the answers. I just know this. I want to share this journey with as many people as I can to let them know that they're not alone, and also to help them to raise awareness, spread the word, raise awareness of this disease, because Lewy body is the most frequently misdiagnosed form of dementia, and one that the medical community seems to know the least about. And it, you see a lot of times where um, caregivers and whatnot just they're not sure how to handle this situation. Um, I've been fortunate enough in this journey to also meet some very interesting people from all over the country. As a matter of fact, in countries around the world, and I've had a couple of people come on the show and share their story. I'm more than happy to share people's story. I don't think any two stories are the same, and so as we can learn from each other by sharing. And I certainly welcome anyone that would like to come and share their story on the show. You're welcome to reach out to me on Facebook at Living with Lewy Podcast on Facebook. And we have a Facebook group, Living with Lewy Podcast group, that you can also just ask to join. And we certainly will, we welcome you. We welcome anyone that has a positive opinion, or, well, I won't, I will say, as long as you have something to share, that I'd be more than happy to welcome you into the group and share, and also find access to maybe some resources and things that we share that maybe you haven't seen before, and maybe they can help. That's really what it's all about, is raising awareness and spreading the word, and trying to make sure that we're doing what we can to help others that are going through this journey as well. One of the people that have been collaborating with is Debbie Costu. Debbie Costu has the number one bestseller, Forget Me Not, and she also has Answers About Alzheimer's, a YouTube channel. And I've gone there and looked at some of the shorts that she has and stuff. And I think it's if you're trying to help someone understand, trying to help someone to better be able to be a caregiver or whatever. She has a lot of good tips, and so certainly I would encourage you to check out her area. Certainly a source of information for me, the National Institute of Health, and is one of the places that I go and I look for things. The Lewy Body Dementia Association is also a good source of some resources. They have all kinds of things on it. Even they even will send you a comprehensive guide for healthcare professionals that help you to maybe be better prepared to have a discussion with your primary care physician. And there's stuff there from the Lewy Body Dementia Association for caregivers. There's a lot of information there, and it's one of the places that I go and look for information that as I continue to seek to know as much as I can, learn as much as I can. I also find that learning as much as I can is kind of a double-edged sword, if you will. I think that it prepares me for what may happen, which can be scary sometimes. But the other side of it is that when I'm talking with my care team, I want to understand as much as I can for as long as I can. So there's positives and negatives to understanding the research, and so I encourage you to reach out to those resources. Reach out to us on Facebook. We'd be more than happy to welcome you into the group. And so thank you very much. Please remember, folks, that we are 100% voluntarily funded by our listeners. So please go to the link at the bottom of your favorite podcast provider, and you'll find a link there that says support the show, or you can find us on GoFundMe under Living with Lewy podcast, and every dollar counts, and every dollar helps. So please take a minute and go in and support the show. We certainly would appreciate it. The only thing we try to do is cover our operating costs and equipment maintenance costs. So we thank you and have a great day. We'd like to thank you for joining us for this edition of Living with Lewy.